Our scripture reading today comes from 1 Corinthians 13, verses 11 and 12. Says Paul, "When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror, dimly. But then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known." I would invite you to join in singing Everlasting God.
Particularly if you think you might drown. Let go of all this effort and let yourself down, however awkwardly, into the waters.
You comfort those
Uncertainty is a tough place to be. I'd like to share a moment of uncertainty with you. A couple of years ago, in early December, my father suffered a massive stroke. Some of you know this. That morning, when my mother found him on the ground, unresponsive and not able to move once he was responsive, she called me in a panic. Matt, something's wrong with your dad. Please come. And so I started to head towards Jefferson City, where they were living at that time, and I got a call about 20 minutes into my speeding that said, now we're going to Columbia. And so I was rushing to Columbia, and by the grace of God, I got there safely, and the whole time I'm thinking in my mind, what is going on with my dad? What is wrong with him? I don't know what's happening. Well, I beat my mother there, and I beat the ambulance there, and I was there when the ambulance arrived. And so my mother shows up, and we both go in, and we go to this area where we're waiting, and we get to see my dad, and all these doctors and nurses are coming in, and they're saying these words that we don't understand because we don't have medical degrees, and they're talking in ways that we're not sure of, and they're telling us that he suffered a massive stroke. There was nothing they could do to prevent it. It just kind of has to work itself out now. What does that mean? What that means is, well, he might survive the day or the week, or he might not. And if he does, it may mean that he does not ever walk again or talk again. And so there's these times of uncertainty that we face with these challenges and these struggles that we just weren't sure what was going to be next, what was going to happen. Was my dad ever going to be the person I knew again? Those were difficult, uncertain times. You see, what I wanted the doctors to do was to tell me the knowns, but they could not tell me the knowns, except for that he had a massive stroke, which affected half of his brain. But outside of that, there were so many unknowns. And if I'm being honest, aren't the unknowns difficult to deal with? Does anyone here like to be blindsided? Anybody? I don't like it at all. It's not cool to be blindsided. I don't like it. I don't like to be surprised with bad news or upsetting news. Maybe some of you are like me and like to be in control and to have a plan. I have been accused of being a perfectionist at times in my life. A feeling that your way is the best way, because otherwise, why wouldn't you be doing it your way? Do any of you share these qualities with me? I hope I'm not alone. You see, we want to know what's ahead of us, right? We want to have control over our lives. We plan the work, right? So that we can work the plan. Plan to work so we can work the plan. That's the idea. Yeah, I mean, it all sounds good until it doesn't. We can deal with the knowns. But the truth is, we have no other choice than to deal with it all. Both the knowns and the unknowns. Today, as part of our worship theme and the gifts of the dark wood, we enter into the dark woods of uncertainty, and we seek what gifts might lie beneath the knowns of our life. We start with this scripture passage, where Paul is comparing the faith of a child with a person whose faith is more seasoned. Children certainly need to feel secure and to thrive. To thrive, they must have routine. And they respond favorably when their needs are met. We know this about kids. Paul says that after people put away childish ways of needing certainty to thrive, that we see in this mirror dimly. Now, the Greek word for dimly is mystery. And personally, I don't think that clears anything up. And so if we see this mirror as a mystery, what does that mean? Paul is advising the church that when we grow up in faith, we embrace life as a mystery to be lived instead of a problem to be solved. And I know that's hard for some of us. It's a mystery to be lived as opposed to a problem to be solved. Eric Elms is the author of this book called Gifts of the Dark Wood. And he says this. He says, too much certainty removes the adventure from life and sucks the joy out of our relationships. Too much certainty removes the adventure from our lives and sucks the joy out of our relationships. I don't think I have to tell anybody this because we see it all the time, right? There is uncertainty all around us. It is all around us. Will the platelet count rise so that I can resume chemotherapy? Will the infection be controlled? What will the tests reveal? How will our family deal with a total, unexpected, and tragic death? Will I ever find a job? Will the system protect the children I love from further abuse? How will our family deal with loss? Well, how? I could deal with the knowns. But if we really think about it, very little of life is known. Very little of it. Most of life is a mystery. So how do we deal with all of this? Again, Eric Elms says, if we're going to live an engaging life and remain engaged with others, we need something other than certainty for a foundation. You hear that? We need something other than certainty for a foundation. Certainty will crumble and does crumble all the time. Death, loss of a job, sickness and disease out of nowhere. A relationship takes a turn for the worse. We need something other than certainty. And thanks be to God that we have it. It is the gift of the dark woods of uncertainty. Some refer to it as faith. Others refer to it as trust. Our faith that our God will never leave us or forsake us. Our trust that someone will care enough to sit with us and listen and walk the road with us and cry with us. When we lose certainty, we can find a faith that we've never had. You ever look back on your life and say, wow, how in the world did I get through that one? You ever look back and ask that question and then realize the answer? That it was because of faith and trust that we did. I can't just leave it there, though, and say we find faith through uncertainty. So I'd ask you just to stay with me in the dark woods for a few more minutes. In Scripture, we read about a man at a healing pool who didn't want to be healed. But when Jesus healed him, he pretended that he was still paralyzed. The man had become so comfortable with certainty that he was willing to waste his life sitting at the edge of healing water without ever going in, even though he was first in line. even after Jesus healed him anyway. He pretended otherwise. It doesn't seem like he wanted to live a full, whole life, because that has expectations, doesn't it? Once we're healed, there's expectations. So instead, he was comfortable with being paralyzed. He didn't have the guts to get up from Jesus' healing and do his part to change his life and the world around him. So he never experienced faith and trust because he didn't want to. He'd rather stay in certainty than take the risk of living from the what is to the what might be. From the reading about Rilke's swan, the swan doesn't cure his awkwardness by beating himself on the back, by moving faster, or trying to organize himself better. The swan is cured, gains trust, is transformed when it moves toward the elemental water where it belongs. See, once we touch the elemental waters, once we touch the persons, the things, the God that gives us life, hope, and peace in uncertain moments, the possibility of real transformation of faith begins. Just as that contact with water gives the swan grace and presence, so our contact with God gives us the gift of faith and of trust. It's our contact with God. Faith and trust, standing in the waters of uncertainty, uplifted by God's promise that we will not be alone. We will not be alone on this journey. Whatever the journey holds for us, that we will not be alone. If we want to experience the gift of finding or deepening our faith and trust, we have to follow this swan and let ourselves down in the waters and let God do what God does. We have to allow ourselves to go down into the water and let God do what God does, which is speaks to us, walks with us, reminds us over and over and over again whose we are and who we are. So in uncertain moments, we have to discipline ourselves to take one step at a time till we find our way through. Indeed, till we find our way home. So we walk or we fly, believing what Romans 8 says. Neither life, nor death, nor things present, nor things to come, nothing can separate us from the love of God. No. Not even uncertainty. And so when I look back on that moment of uncertainty I shared with you earlier, I see that faith and trust is what got me through. I see that faith and trust is what has been helping my mother provide for my father. I see that faith and trust in God is what has made a man who was supposed to never walk or talk again do exactly those things. And he praises God all the more for it. I've seen that faith and trust became a witness of my father, became the good news that he could share with others of what a mighty God that he serves. I've seen lives changed because of an uncertain moment in our lives. You see, there are gifts to be found in uncertainty.
was here on Ash Wednesday. We were talking the next day as they stayed and hung out for a while, and he told me, he goes, Matt, you know, I don't think if I had to go back that I would change having a stroke. Because of all the good things that have come through it. All the people that he's been able to reach and touch and witness to because of it. And that's just like, whoa, to me. Because make no mistake about it, his life has been forever changed, physically. But his love for God grows more and more every day because of it. And so are you uncertain? Are you in this moment uncertain of something in your life? I pray that you will gain the faith and trust that you did.